You're facing, when to switch it to forward facing, when it's time for a booster seat, and when it's time for your child to ride in the back seat with a seatbelt. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The views and opinions on the programs which air on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760 are those of the hosts and guests of those programs and not necessarily those of the station or management.
Are you thinking of buying or selling your home? Downsizing, upsizing, investing? Are you relocating? Do you want to know your local market conditions? Are you behind on payments? Are you looking for improvement tips? Or what if your home didn't sell? This is Real Estate with Ryan, your hometown expert and trusted source for the most up-to-date information. And now your host, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Real.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining us on Real Estate with Ryan. I'm Ryan Coleman, your host, along with my lovely co-host, April Coleman.
Good morning, everyone.
Hope you're doing well on a Saturday morning. Thank you for joining us. We've got a good show for you today. Before we start that, I think we've got some housekeeping issues that April wants to talk about.
Yes, we do. I just want to let everybody know that it is the time of the season that has come up on us super quick, that the 2018 Knoxville News Sentinel is now voting for all sorts of different categories, but the main one for us this year is the real estate agent and for the company. So on the Hometown Realty Ryan Coleman's Facebook page, you can go and vote for us for Hometown Realty and for Ryan as your favorite agent. And so this is the best of Knoxville, kind of who's who, and we would really love your vote. We really appreciate you guys listening to us every Saturday at 11. And voting ends tomorrow night at midnight, so make sure you get in there. And all you have to do is put in your email, and then I think it triggers your name just to kind of keep up with everybody. And anyway, so hopefully we can get your vote for the 2018 season. We appreciate you guys.
We have to ask for the business. We appreciate you guys listening to us, and it means a lot. I think more importantly, we were nominated last year and won, and understanding that it's not about us, it's not about anything else other than you guys and our service, and just kind of a reflection of what we do. You know, you guys, we do 2 radio shows in town, and we're constantly working to kind of give you the up-to-date information in the market, and we're always working really hard with you. So our past clients or present clients, if you work with us, you understand that you get that personal service touch, and we really appreciate your business. We know there's a lot of choices out there, and you have a lot of selections, and we're honored by working with you guys on such a big move. So
Got it.
Don't forget to vote. We appreciate your vote, and we don't take it for granted. So we got a good show for you today. As the market, it is that time. Summer's winding down. July's been a big vacation month. Kids are going back to school. A lot of things going on. I think more specifically, I want to kind of keep you up to date with the market, where we're at and what's going on.
Yes.
And over the last couple of months, we've seen a little bit of a slowdown. There's some changes and some corrections in the market. And I guess more importantly, there's some sales across the country that I want to bring you up to date with. Not that we're going to be into a recession, but I think there is some correction coming. You know, real estate's always on a cycle, guys, and we've been in a 5 going on a 7-year cycle. So we're seeing some corrections. And so our show, we're going to talk about the correction in the market, what you need to do if your home's on the market, what you need to do as the market's changing, inventory's changing, sales are changing, what you need to do if you're thinking about selling and you actually have to sell this year, rest of 2018, and hopefully what we can project in 2019.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully. We can talk about that.
Hopefully we can.
So we have some numbers for you, and I think first and foremost, let's talk here in East Tennessee in our Knoxville market. And we want to compare to last year versus this year. And the biggest thing is, you know, sometimes if you're out there in the marketplace and really not having the real numbers and understanding what's out there, a lot of people will say, oh, the market's booming, the market's moving overnight. Inventory's down, it's a seller's market, it's going to move overnight. And a lot of those things have been true. The inventory is down, the market is moving good for sellers. It's the best time we've had for a while. But there are some corrections.
Yes.
And there are some numbers that will probably If you talk to 10 different people, you may get 10 different answers.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to give you the real numbers, real facts, because that's important. And you need to know. The most important thing that you're going to do if you're thinking about selling, understanding the real numbers, and I think that will give you an informed decision. And you know, two important things I tell our clients when we meet with them, it's why are we moving, what's important about your move, and pricing. Two important things.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to cover that pricing today, and kind of why we think they're changing in the market, April, why we see some of that changing. Is it just inventory? Is it prices going up? We're going to talk about all that here, Real Estate with Ryan. Listen, any questions you've got, I don't want to forget, 865-888-TALK. That's 865-888-8255. Talk Radio. We're here live in the studio. Any questions that you've got?
Questions, comments?
We're also out there. Thank you guys for streaming on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, all those different media sites. We appreciate you watching us.
Got it. And I have some of those numbers for us.
Okay.
For this year. So we're talking about the single-family homes only in the entire MLS, which actually covers a large portion of Knoxville and the surrounding counties. So it even goes up into Kentucky. So we can get more specific, you know, for different counties, but right now we're just going to do the entire MLS. So we're looking at sold listings for June of 2017, and it shows that 1,990 were sold last year. Now this year it was 1,987. So very, very tight on those numbers. It was only a, you know, -3. So just a 0.2 loss. So it was very, very close. So stagnant, kind of stayed the same. Now for July of 2017, there was 1,747 sold, you know, from year to date. And right now, there's only 1,411. So far, that is 336 less homes. Now, of course, you know, we have starting Monday, 2 more days, business days to get, you know, 336 sold. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but it looks like that we are on a, you know, decrease for July for this year compared to last year. So far that's a 19.
What's the percentage change?
19.2%.
Negative or positive?
Negative.
Than last year?
Compared to last year.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yes, so down 19% homes sold. Now the number of new listings, last year in July, there was 2,397 new listings, and this year, 2,237 new listings so far. So like I said, we have a couple of days for new listings to come back on, but that's a negative 6.7% drop compared from last year to this year. So what you see is we have less homes on the market, less homes sold. So not everybody's putting their home on the market in July months, and not many people are buying home in July, which we have found out that July is one of the, you know, most vacationing times of the year because everybody starts going back to school in August. So that could be one of the reasons, but it was up last year compared to this year. So we're going to dive into that.
It's always tough when we go back to school and kids go back to school, and a lot of things are prepping for that. So there's always a little bit of a correction during that time frame, so that's not uncommon. We're coming up on a hard break, guys. Stay with us. We're going to talk more about the market stats and what we're seeing across the country here locally, and things you need to know. What will trigger the next recession? What will trigger the market changing? What you need to know here with Real Estate with Ryan. You guys stay tuned.
Got it. Thank you.
Laura Ingram here. Thinking about selling your home with all the headaches that most people experience? Well, not all real estate agents operate the same. You have someone right here in your own backyard you can trust if you need to sell your home. I'm talking about Ryan Coleman of Hometown Realty. His system outmarkets and outsells 99% of other agents in the Knoxville area. Ryan spends thousands of dollars every week on marketing, and he drives more buyers to your home, resulting in a home selling faster and for more money. Ryan has been voted by Knoxville News Sentinel as one of the best realtors realtors in your area. What I like is when you call Ryan, you get Ryan. You're not passed off to another agent. On such a big decision like selling your home, you can't afford not to have a hometown expert like Ryan on your side. And don't worry about getting stuck owning 2 homes or no home at all. Ryan guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline.
Told Putin, I'm aware of the extraordinary work you've done on behalf of the Russian people just a few years ago, and reporters yawned. We can certainly fight back against foreign countries messing with our elections, but we should hold up a mirror at the same time, as the record shows America has done it to dozens of other countries.
Lars Larson, weeknights at 7 on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760.
Are you passionate about helping people? Have you ever considered a career in nursing? If you have, Compassionate Care Technical Center is now enrolling for their Certified Nursing Assistant Program and CPR and First Aid classes. Compassionate Care Technical Center is authorized for operation by the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. Classes are affordable, and in less than a month, you'll be a certified nursing assistant. Full-time day classes and part-time evening classes are available. For more information and to enroll, log on to cnatrainingknox.com. cnatrainingknox.com.
It's Real Estate with Ryan on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760. Got a question for Ryan? Call the Pure Magic Hotline
At 865-888-TALK.
Thank you guys for staying tuned. Real Estate with Ryan. We're talking on the other side of the break, diving into the topic of the market stats here locally. And April was talking about some of the sales here locally and what we're seeing, a 19% decrease in sales versus last year, right? Yeah. Now, there's an article here I want to talk about it briefly. It says June marks third month of falling existing home sales, and the median home price reached an all-time high of 76 consecutive price hikes. So the median price is up. Obviously, we know that we're paying more money for the property. The median price across the country is $276,900. It's up 5.2% from last year. Although, and this is what we're seeing across the board, meanwhile, inventory is 4.3, supplies at a current pace. Normal market's about 6%, 6 months of inventory. So we're good with inventory, but we're seeing that increase. Market times fell just to 28 days, and 58% of homes were sold in June. 58% of homes were sold in June. And it's a seller's market, and things are really doing stronger. So these are things up. Cash sales are up to 22%. Unsold inventory has now creeped up to 4.3% per month.
Interesting. And I did read something about first-time home buyers. The percentage has decreased this year compared to last year. So I think last year it was like 34% in June, and this year it was 31%. So it seems like because I think the inventory for the first-time home buyer market, which is that 100, 200 range or lower, that market is on the downfall, and there isn't as much inventory for the first-time home buyer, and so therefore their sales are going to be down.
It makes it tough for the first-time buyer. Prices are skyrocketing, and that's what we're seeing across the country. That it's where the rates were 2.7, 3% rate, now they've moved to 4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, and it just gets to a certain point where it makes more sense to rent. We've talked about it multiple times. The buyers are pulling out of the marketplace, which is a challenge. Another article that we've tied into the show is this: half of U.S. homes are now more valuable than the real estate bubble. So something, if you've been in the market for a while, understanding that the correction that we had back in 2008, we're now climbing back up to the values that were more valuable than that time during the change.
Oh, wow.
And I think one of the most important things that you have to understand is that in the marketplace, and we're just kind of see a trickle-down effect. Most buyers, April and I were talking about, was, they're going to have a home to sell and they're going to purchase. So it's going to be the move-up market, and it's going to be that home selling. Well, the higher end, obviously, if the market starts correcting, we're going to have a change. And things that need to be changed, obviously, higher end, less people, less quality available for those buyers, then they affect them selling their home. So they pull off the market.
Right.
And anytime the pool of buyers shrink, then we have that challenge. And then what do you do to be more competitive? what do you do to make your property stand out? We always talk about marketing and different things like that, which is key.
It is.
But at the same time, it becomes, a seller's conversation. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we either add more value to the home or upgrades, which may or may not be the right move, or we're going to adjust the price.
Right.
And so that's why it's really important to know on the market trends and know where we're at. What are some of those things that you need to be looking for if the market does turn?
Yes.
And we're not going doom and gloom. We don't see that the market's changing, but I want to alert you to kind of know that there are some changes in the marketplace. If we're currently on the market, we need to look at a price correction because some of the buyers have come out of the marketplace. We're seeing days on market longer. Our article said in June only 58% of the homes are selling.
Right.
So those are some of the things. What will cause a recession? What will cause the correction? Some things that we need to look for.
And some of the experts, kind of look back on the recession that we had before and then saw trends. And so then that's why they're saying, hey, look for these trends.
I think it's past performance. Just like when you put your home on the market, what will a buyer be willing to pay? We can only determine that by seeing what's been on the market prior, similar, and hopefully gauging that. Obviously there's a little flexibility. One of the things to keep in mind is that the Federal Reserve is always a benchmark to watch what they've been doing.
It's always a big one.
If you point out the consistent cause of recessions in the past several decades, the Feds are basically raising rates, and there was an investment or a credit contraction. While the Feds have been increasing interest rate at a pace about a quarter per quarter, interest rates yet are neutral.
Right.
But that's something to really, really keep an eye on. And we talk about trade. There's a lot of trade war, and there's some discussion on things that are going across the country. A trade war will compound these issues. We talk about the rising prices of lumber out in Canada, raw materials, steel, aluminum, and lumber. They're going to also affect new construction and, of course, remodeling.
Yes, so those prices go up. And then, maybe they don't sell as quick, so you got to think about that too.
And if it costs more to build, then that's starting to set the threshold across.
Right, which we talked about in our previous show about trade war and kind of what's going on with that end and how it can affect the economy.
I think that's one of the biggest things. We see competing factors right now. 5-6 years ago, short sales, REOs were our biggest competing factor from on the marketplace right now. And now new construction by far, whether you're Hardin Valley, across the Farragut, everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at, we see new subdivision coming up. And so as a resale, as a seller, our biggest competition is new construction. Because think about it, guys. A builder has more flexibility in the cost being built. They can have more features, more options, and there's more flexibility with the price because they probably bought the land in bulk.
Right.
And so keep that in mind. If the costs are going up and the builders start needing to move inventory and prices are changing, that's definitely going to affect our resale market and things like that as well.
Yes. Yes.
I think also probably a third point that most people don't think of is corporate debt. The idea of crash in corporate debt is an interesting one. 31% of gross domestic product is at an all-time high. So people are spending some money. Corporations are going in debt a little bit.
Right.
What do we do when we go in debt and the market retracts?
Exactly.
And there's a contraction. And so you start seeing layoffs, you start seeing correction, things like that. So these are just things to watch out for. I don't see anything to this point. We were talking, April and I were talking about a client that we met with yesterday and had an interesting conversation, and we were chatting, we're going, is it better to sell now? It's the middle of the summer. Do I miss the market, or do we go ahead and do some corrections and maybe wait till next spring? And that's a good challenge and a good question. Obviously, spring and summer is where there's a bulk of the business being done. Fall and East time in Tennessee is great. But nobody knows where that market's going. Nobody knows in a correction, just like anything, the market can change on a dime.
It's true.
And so, to try to guess the market, what will happen in spring of next year, hopefully we think it will be better, but even if it changed 3 to 5%, it could be a big swing, especially if 250, 270 purchase price.
In the way that the market was last year, we kind of thought that the market would be different or better this year. and then it looks like it's kind of all over the place, so.
I think what you're seeing,
never know.
you know, with the sales coming in, everybody with the inventory in the beginning part of the market, we're doing really well. And what you're seeing is corrections kind of have increased on us.
Right.
I mean, to read those numbers that we pulled off yesterday of 19% difference.
Yeah.
And I think you almost feel that the marketplace, and we're as busy as we've ever been, but I think you see that that market is changing. And so it's important that if you're carrying days in the market or things that need to be done, that you sit down with your agent or sit down with us and talk about a plan, what we need to do, kind of halftime, what we need to do to correct it and get your home under contract. I think the biggest thing that sellers make, or one of the challenges that they make, is understanding their position. And I say this meaning a lot of times we're thinking about our move and what's important to us, but remember there's always somebody else that's involved. Remember, buyers in the marketplace, either they're being transferred, there's a reason for that move and that motivation.
Right.
And there's a window of that opportunity. And I think understanding both parties and understanding that just as you're thinking that you may get more money here coming in the spring, at the same time buyers think that there may be a better opportunity.
That's true.
To get a better deal.
They may say,
Right.
hey, it's going to level out, and then,
I think we're seeing some buyers that don't have to move, holding on what they need to do. So I think importantly is, make sure that you have a game plan and understand the market pretty well before you're going forward. Understand what you're doing and have a strategic marketing plan that makes sense, that's going to give you the maximum exposure. What's your thoughts on, should we wait from now to spring, April? What do you talk to clients about? What do you think is most important in that conversation of waiting versus if they need to sell, want to sell, they know they're going to sell. The client we talked to was downsizing, and they said, well, we're definitely going to do it. Rates are good, and the house is just too much, so we're committed to doing it.
well, I think that if you know you want to sell, and it's something that both of you all are on board about, and you're on the same page, then I would say not to wait. Only because you never know what the future holds, and you always say, hey, it'll be better next year, or I'll wait to the spring market next year. And if inventory that we see is lower, maybe more people aren't buying, but there's a reason for that. While sales are a little bit down, but I think that now is a good time to put your home on the market. You have the more serious buyers. Maybe that they've seen all the inventory that they have and they just, haven't made that decision. But maybe they're not waiting until next spring. Maybe they are ready to find something now. And a lot of buyers right now are getting back from vacation, and they may push to get in to their homes before school starts.
Do you think it shifts? What about the buyers? We talk a lot about the sellers, but how does this shift for the buyers?
Yeah, I think that what happens is that either they're really motivated and they've taken a little time off because maybe they haven't found what they want, and they get re-motivated because they're like, oh, well, school's about to start, I want to get out, I've already put my home on the market for sale, or, my rent's coming up, or whatever, the case may be. It may be that push to the very end. And so, or they just wait for school to go back, and then they stay in that same school district, and just let me get my kids in school, and then we'll start the house buying.
I think you're right. I think that there's kind of a halftime here as we start the middle of the year, going into beginning of fall before you know it. And I think buyers that have pulled off the market, they're coming back in, and they're going to be looking for homes carrying a little days on market. And I think you're going to see more flexibility in the offers. And I think if you're going to go under contract, I think you're going to have to look at those and make sure your pricing is in coordination with the market. Every Saturday, we're live in the studio. It always goes quicker than we expect. You can listen to Real Estate with Ryan every Saturday at 11 o'clock. Me and April are here giving you the up-to-date information.
Got it.
If you need us, you know the number, 693-SOLD, RyanColeman.org. You can always catch us on Facebook and social media. We appreciate you.
Don't forget to go out there and vote.
Yeah, give us our vote. It really means a lot. We appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend, and we hope to see you this next Saturday here in the studios.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Real Estate with Ryan on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760 with Ryan Coleman of Hometown Realty. Find Ryan on Facebook.
Hey guys, thank you for staying with us. We've got to cut it short. Make sure you guys get out and vote. Give us that Best of Knoxville vote. It means a lot. Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you need anything, 693-SOLD, RyanColeman.org. We appreciate you following us. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.